Welcome, and thank you for joining me for this in-depth exploration of Oprah Winfrey's remarkable life story. Today, we'll take a closer look at how she rose from challenging beginnings to become one of the most influential figures in media and philanthropy. Throughout this journey, we'll learn about the pivotal moments, the setbacks, and the triumphs that shaped her into the media titan she is today. Let's dive in and discover how she built an empire based on empathy, authenticity, and the power of storytelling. Oprah Winfrey was born on January 29, 1954, in Kosciuszko, Mississippi, a small rural town known for farmland rather than opportunity. Her early life was marked by hardship. She was the daughter of Vernita Lee, a housemaid, and Vernon Winfrey, who was in the armed forces before becoming a barber and businessman. When Oprah was born, her parents were not married, and they separated soon after her birth. This meant she spent her first few years moving between various relatives' homes. For the first part of her childhood, she was raised largely by her grandmother, Hattie Mae Lee, on a rural farm. Growing up in rural poverty, Oprah wore potato sacks as dresses because her family simply could not afford new clothes. Yet even in these early years, she displayed a gift for spoken language. Her grandmother took her to church gatherings where Oprah would recite Bible verses, earning her the nickname, the Little Speaker. Though extremely young, she showed a talent for capturing attention. These first lessons in public speaking and storytelling laid a foundation for the skills that would later define her career. When she was 6, Oprah moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, to live with her mother, Vernita, who was working as a domestic helper. Life in Milwaukee was a stark contrast to the farm in Mississippi. The neighborhood was riddled with poverty and crime, and Oprah's home environment lacked stability. Yet her willingness to share her vulnerabilities and lessons learned has endeared her to viewers worldwide. People see in her a living example of resilience, someone who transformed pain and struggle into a platform for empathy and empowerment. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Oprah's story is how she leveraged media, particularly storytelling, to foster intimacy with her audience. Daytime television historically featured game shows or heavily scripted dramas, but she brought candid, empathetic conversations about the human experience into households across America and beyond. She tackled issues like childhood abuse, domestic violence, racial tensions, and spiritual questions that were often considered too personal or controversial for national television. By bringing these topics into the daylight, she sparked millions of quieter conversations at kitchen tables and helped destigmatize mental health care for many who had never thought about therapy or self-improvement before. Her personal motto, "Live Your Best Life," succinctly captures the essence of what she has encouraged throughout her career. Whether it's through overcoming childhood trauma, seeking professional success, embracing spiritual growth, or engaging in meaningful philanthropy, Oprah's narrative consistently points to the idea that no matter your background or the obstacles you face, you can chart a new path forward. Her story is both deeply personal and universal, illustrating how determination, empathy, and authenticity can forge an unbreakable bond between a talk show host and millions of viewers worldwide. In recent interviews and public appearances, Oprah often reflects on her journey, paying tribute to the people who supported her and the lessons she learned from the many interviews she conducted. She highlights that her true calling wasn't just hosting a talk show, it was creating a space for honest, transformative conversations. Whether she's producing documentaries, hosting spiritual workshops, or meeting with global leaders, that basic mission endures. Today, even with her talk show off the air for more than a decade, Oprah's influence remains vast. She continues to shape cultural and social discussions, often with a single recommendation, interview, or public statement. Media outlets scrutinize her every move, while aspiring entrepreneurs and media personalities study her strategies for success. She represents the power of storytelling in its purest form, showing how a single person's voice, when it resonates with the experiences and hopes of millions, can change how people see themselves and their possibilities. Looking forward, Oprah shows no signs of stepping away from public life entirely. Her focus might shift from one platform to another, from network television to streaming services, or from daily talk shows to occasional specials. But the essence of her mission stays constant: to help help people understand themselves, improve their circumstances, and connect more deeply with one another. In a world saturated with media choices, her distinctive blend of empathy, insight, and business acumen has set her apart as not just a media mogul, but a cultural icon. Thank you for staying with me through this extensive look at Oprah Winfrey's life. From a childhood defined by poverty and abuse, she navigated a path to become a billionaire media titan, shaping public discourse and championing philanthropic causes. Though her journey has not been without controversy or setbacks, her story proves that resilience and authenticity can wield immense transformative power. Whether you admire her for her philanthropic efforts, her talk show empire, her acting, or simply her unwavering belief in the potential for personal growth, there is no denying that Oprah Winfrey has left an indelible mark on modern culture. May her life story serve as a reminder that no matter where we start, we have the capacity to evolve, share our truths, and reach across our differences to find common humanity. Vernita's long work hours meant that Oprah was often alone, and tragically, she experienced various forms of abuse and trauma. She later spoke openly about suffering sexual abuse from relatives and a family friend, an experience that deeply scarred her and contributed to an unstable adolescence. At one point, the emotional toll grew so severe that, in her teenage years, Oprah became rebellious, ran away, and struggled to find direction. By the time she was sent to live with her father, Vernon, in Nashville, Tennessee, her life had reached a desperate moment. She was 14, pregnant, and uncertain of her future. The baby was born prematurely and died shortly after birth. This heartbreaking event became a major turning point, pushing Oprah to seek a different path in life. Under her father's more structured guidance, she began to focus on education and discipline. Vernon Winfrey was strict, but supportive, emphasizing reading, oratory skills, and personal development. He made sure Oprah read a book each week and wrote reports on what she had learned. Though demanding, this environment helped her to thrive academically, and she began to find stability that she had never experienced before. At East Nashville High School, Oprah joined the speech team, participated in drama club, and discovered a natural affinity for media. She became known for her strong voice, articulateness, and ability to connect with people on a personal level. Recognizing her talent, local radio stations and television networks started to notice her. By her late teens, she was co-anchoring the local evening news in Nashville, making her one of the youngest and the first African-American female anchors at that station. This was a breakthrough for her. Not only had she overcome a tumultuous childhood, she was now stepping into a realm that few young black women had penetrated. Oprah won a scholarship to Tennessee State University, a historically black college, where she majored in communication. However, her blossoming career in broadcasting made it challenging to focus solely on academics. She worked part-time at a local radio station, honing her style, learning the craft of reporting, and discovering how to interview people effectively. She had a real ability to elicit emotion from interviewees, and her empathy drew listeners in. Over time, her studies took a backseat to her on-the-job education in media. Eventually, she accepted a full-time role as a TV news anchor. In her early 20s, Oprah co-anchored the news in Baltimore, Maryland. It was a significant jump to a larger market, but it wasn't an easy transition. She found hard news reporting constraining. Her superiors criticized her on-air appearance and style. She was demoted from her position as an anchor to a less prominent role on a local talk show called People Are Talking. While this might have seemed like a career setback at first, it turned out to be a vital turning point. Hosting a talk show allowed Oprah to be more authentic, a quality she had struggled to express while reading a teleprompter during newscasts. She could finally bring her warm, empathetic approach to interviewing and conversation, forging deeper connections with guests and viewers. Working on People Are Talking, Oprah began to flourish. Over several years, the program's popularity grew, and she developed a distinctive style of empathy and candor. She believed in letting people tell their own stories, and rather than maintaining a distant, neutral persona, she shared parts of her own life experiences. This was unusual for a talk show host at the time. Many presenters preferred remaining more formal and detached, but Oprah's openness drew people in. Television executives started to notice her growing ratings and the unique bond she forged with her audience. In 1983, an opportunity arose in Chicago. A struggling morning talk show on WLS-TV called AM Chicago needed a new host. Oprah jumped at the chance, moving to the city that would become her home base and the launching pad for her national success. Within a month of Oprah's arrival, AM Chicago leapt from the bottom of local ratings to the very top, beating out the well-established rival show. Audiences responded to her warmth and generosity, and the show's topics grew more engaging. This swift turnaround caught the attention of national syndicators. By 1986, the show was renamed The Oprah Winfrey Show and expanded to an hour, with national syndication soon following. The Oprah Winfrey Show was unlike most daytime programs of its era. While many talk shows at the time focused on sensationalism or confrontational drama, Oprah often steered her show towards self-improvement, relationships, spirituality, and personal stories that resonated with a broad demographic. True, there were some more sensational topics in the early years. Daytime television in the 80s and 90s often battled for attention, but by the 1990s, Oprah had begun to refine the show's tone. She distanced herself from tabloid-style content, opting for more meaningful discussions, from child abuse awareness to health, psychology, and literature. Audiences connected deeply with this approach, and The Oprah Winfrey Show became the highest-rated daytime talk show in American history, reaching tens of millions of viewers daily. Given her increasing popularity, Oprah seized the chance to expand her brand. Early on, she founded Harpo Productions, Harpo being Oprah spelled backward. By forming her own production company, she gained control over the rights and profits of her show, a move many experts consider one of the smartest business decisions in television history. Harpo's Chicago-based studio became a hub of innovation, producing not just her talk show, but also movies and television specials. This entrepreneurial spirit set Oprah apart from other TV personalities who were content to let networks handle production. She became both talent and producer, giving her a large degree of creative and financial control. One of Oprah's most notable forays outside talk television came through acting. In 1985, she landed a role in Steven Spielberg's film adaptation of Alice Walker's novel, The Color Purple. She portrayed Sophia, a strong, determined character who faced tremendous adversity. Her performance earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress, bringing critical acclaim and helping her find a path into Hollywood. Although she didn't pursue many subsequent acting roles, preferring to focus on her show and production company, her performance in The Color Purple was a clear signal of her wide-ranging talent. In addition to The Oprah Winfrey Show, Harpo Productions experimented with spin-off talk shows, films, and television dramas. Under Harpo's umbrella, she mentored new personalities like Dr. Phil McGraw, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Rachel Ray, each of whom became successful talk show hosts in their own right. This mentorship extended her impact in media far beyond her own on-screen presence, as these protégés inherited her style of relatable conversation, personal storytelling, and self-improvement themes. During the 1990s and 2000s, as her talk show continued to dominate the ratings, Oprah's name became synonymous with success, authenticity, and influence. If she recommended a product, a phenomenon known as the Oprah effect, sales would skyrocket immediately. The most famous example of this was Oprah's Book Club, launched in 1996. Whenever she selected a book for her book club, it became an instant bestseller, sending authors to the top of the charts, sometimes for weeks or months. She introduced millions of people to reading as a shared communal experience, often hosting deep discussions with authors on the show. Her unique position at the intersection of culture and entertainment turned her into a tastemaker with global reach. Despite her incredible success, Oprah remained candid about her personal struggles. She openly discussed her battles with weight, body image, and emotional well-being. At various points, she engaged in weight loss journeys that she shared with the public, some more successful than others. but rather than hiding her setbacks, she used them as teachable moments, telling her audience that setbacks do not define a person's worth. This honest approach helped viewers see themselves in her story, further cementing the personal bond millions of people felt with her. As Oprah's brand soared, so did her net worth. By the mid-1990s, she was already one of the most financially successful women in the United States, and in 2003, she became the first African-American woman on Forbes's list of billionaires. Yet she never defined herself solely by her wealth. She saw money as a resource for giving back, repeatedly emphasizing the importance of philanthropy. In 1998, she created Oprah's Angel Network, which raised millions of dollars for charities, built schools, and helped disaster relief efforts globally. Her philanthropy touched education, women's empowerment, community health, and a variety of other causes. One of Oprah's most ambitious philanthropic projects was the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa, which opened in 2007. After a conversation with then-President Nelson Mandela, she committed to improving educational opportunities for young girls in Africa. She funded the school's construction, endowment, and all related operational costs. Her vision was to provide a world-class education for underserved girls who showed academic and leadership potential, reflecting her deeply held belief that education is the key to breaking cycles of poverty. The Academy has had its share of challenges, including a scandal involving abuse allegations against staff, but Oprah responded decisively, addressing the issue and reaffirming her commitment to the students. By the time The Oprah Winfrey Show ended its 25-year run in 2011, it had become a television institution, influencing talk shows and daytime programming around the world. Oprah decided it was time to move on to new ventures, although she remained active as a media influencer and producer. She launched OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network, partnering with Discovery Communications. The vision for OWN was to create a cable channel that would bring the spirit of her talk show, uplifting, inspiring, and meaningful content, to a broader media landscape. Its initial years were challenging, as ratings didn't meet expectations, and the network struggled to define its identity. However, through strategic programming and partnership deals with producers like Tyler Perry, OWN eventually stabilized and gained a dedicated audience interested in lifestyle, personal development, and faith-based shows. Oprah's presence and entertainment continued to evolve. She returned to acting occasionally, most notably in films such as Lee Daniels' The Butler, 2013, in which she played Gloria Gaines, wife of a longtime White House butler, and Ava DuVernay's Selma, 2014, where she produced and also had a small on-screen role. She even appeared in Disney's A Wrinkle in Time, 2018, as Mrs. Which. Though none of these roles reached the critical heights of her performance in The Color Purple, they reminded audiences of her versatility and passion for stories that illuminate social issues. Away from the cameras, Oprah's personal life found more stability. She has been in a long-time partnership with Stedman Graham. Though she chose not to marry or have children, she has often spoken about the importance of self-care, introspection, and gratitude, values that guide her personal philosophy. Her best friend, Gayle King, a journalist in her own right, has also been a mainstay of her life, and their friendship is frequently cited as an example of loyalty and mutual support in an industry often known for fleeting relationships. Oprah's public image has not been without controversy. She has been criticized for her occasionally strong endorsement of certain self-help gurus or questionable medical advice presented on her show. Critics suggest that sometimes her platform elevated individuals whose claims weren't always scientifically grounded. Oprah has acknowledged some mistakes in judgment but typically emphasizes her show's broader focus on personal growth and storytelling. Overall, her reputation for honesty and integrity has largely endured. Another dimension of Oprah's influence appears in the socio-political arena. She has openly supported various political candidates, including Barack Obama during his 2008 presidential campaign. Some analyses suggest that her endorsement gave him a significant boost in visibility and popularity, possibly helping to secure his path to the nomination. Her involvement with high-profile social causes continued, whether she was lending her voice to the #MeToo movement or advocating for criminal justice reform. She has frequently used her platform to address issues of race and gender, inviting open dialogue and pushing viewers to consider different perspectives. Her role as a cultural force even extended to spiritual and motivational domains. She collaborated with spiritual teacher Eckhart Tolle on a series of televised workshops based on his book, A New Earth, discussing mindfulness and self-awareness. This initiative demonstrated her belief in ongoing personal and collective transformation, aligning with her broader mission to help people live their best lives. After ending the daily talk show, Oprah still maintained a strong presence in media, though in a different capacity. She continued hosting interviews and specials, many of which became major TV events. One striking example was her 2021 sit-down interview with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, which aired internationally and generated enormous buzz. This underscored her enduring ability to draw massive audiences to in-depth conversations about personal stories that echo larger societal themes. In the realm of publishing, the Oprah magazine, launched in 2000, became a cornerstone of her media empire. Featuring Oprah on nearly every cover and focusing on lifestyle, health, relationships, and personal growth, the magazine offered a monthly dose of her philosophy and approach. Though print media has declined in the digital age, the magazine enjoyed a lengthy run and pivoted to new formats. The Oprah's Book Club segment persisted online and through various digital channels, proving that her influence in publishing continues strong even after the show's end. Financially, Oprah has maintained her status as one of the world's wealthiest and most influential women. Forbes has repeatedly listed her as the richest African American woman of the 20th century and beyond. She has diversified her investments, taking stakes in companies like Weight Watchers, WW, and forging partnerships for content streaming. However, she often reiterates that money is not her end goal. She sees her wealth as a vehicle to fund initiatives and causes that align with her values, whether it's supporting girls' education in Africa, disaster relief programs in the U.S., or smaller-scale charitable activities. Her philanthropic approach remains a strong part of her identity. While it might be easy to see Oprah's life as a straight trajectory from adversity to triumph, that narrative overlooks the complexities she has faced along the way. She has navigated personal tragedy, professional setbacks, public scrutiny, and the isolation that can come with enormous fame.